Welcome back to Navigate Nourish Nest, the empty nest adventures of Andrew and Courtney. Today we take you back to our kitchen where we start a Holiday Traditions baking series. Stay tuned for all of the delicious details. Hi everybody, it's Courtney. Welcome back to my kitchen. I am excited to share with you a new series on holiday baking traditions, and we're going to start with some simple cinnamon rolls. All right, we decided to start with those simple cinnamon rolls because that has been a long time tradition for our family. We make cinnamon rolls on the morning of every holiday. So Thanksgiving morning, Christmas morning, Easter morning, you can always bet on the fact there will be some cinnamon rolls at my house ready to go. All right, so first let's talk about what you'll need. You're gonna need a stand mixer or hand mixer. You can mix this by hand, but it's a little bit of a thicker dough. You're probably gonna want some tools to help you with that. You'll need a scraper to scrape the dough off of the sides of the bowl as you're going, and then some measuring cups and measuring spoons according to what you're doing here, or you can pre-measure everything into bowls like we did. I find that makes it a lot easier. A large bowl to let your dough rise in, and then we use pie plates. You can use a 9x13 pan and put the entire recipe in that one pan, or you can split it into two, which is what we prefer to do because we like one orange glazed and one cream cheese frosted, so we use 2 pie plates instead. You'll need a small saucepan to heat your milk, and then the tools and things that I have back here are for the filling and the glazes. You'll need some whisks and a spreader to spread the filling on the dough. Otherwise, that's about it. All right, now let's talk ingredients. We'll start just with the ingredients for the dough, and then I'll go over ingredients for the filling and the topping later. But what you'll need for the dough is 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 packages of dry active yeast, a teaspoon of salt, 1 egg, a 1/4 cup of butter or half of a stick of butter, 1/3 of a cup of granulated sugar, and 1 cup of regular 2% milk is what I use, but any milk product would be fine. All right, to get started, we're gonna put 2 cups of our flour into our mixing bowl. We're gonna add 1/3 of a cup of granulated sugar, the 2 packages of dry active yeast, and then the teaspoon of salt. We don't need to do anything more with that for just a moment. We're going to take our milk over to our saucepan and get that warming up. All right, we want to turn on our heat to a medium-high setting. We're going to take 1 cup of milk and we're going to put it into this small saucepan. And I have a thermometer on there. We don't want this to heat over about 130 degrees. An overheated milk is going to kill your yeast. Okay, our milk has been heated. We're going to get the mixer ready in place here. Lock that. We're going to add our warm milk to the mixer on a low speed with our flour, sugar, yeast, and salt. And just let that go for just a moment. Incorporate that milk. If you need to stop it for a moment and push some of that flour around on the edges and so that everything can be equally incorporated, that is just fine. Again, we heated our milk to 100 and no more than 130. 120 to 130 degrees Fahrenheit is about what you want your milk temperature to be. Any hotter than that, and again, it will overheat your yeast and kill the yeast, and then your rolls won't rise. All right, so now that that is pretty well incorporated with the milk, we're gonna add that 1/4 of a cup of softened butter and 1 egg. And then we're going to turn this up a notch. And just make sure everything gets well incorporated from here. I'm going to turn it back down slightly. I'm going to put a cover on here so that we don't get flour all over the kitchen. It doesn't fit this bowl exactly, but we'll do our best. And then we're gonna start to add an additional 1.5 to 2 cups of flour until the dough starts to come together, pulling from the edges of the bowl. I add mine about 1/4 cup at a time. I feel like I have more control over when to take that off or turn off that mixer. All right, we finished incorporating our flour, and this is what you want your dough to look like. It's gonna be sticky. Put a little flour on your hands, and if you can pinch it and it kind of comes together, then your dough is ready. So with floured hands onto a floured surface, you wanna take your dough out of the bowl, and we're gonna knead it for about 5 minutes. All right, we're gonna knead it, like I said, for about 5 minutes until it's springy and soft and smooth. This dough already feels really good. Okay, what you want is for your dough to be, like I said, soft and springy. You want it to kind of come back as you're kneading it. You want it to be nice and smooth. And I know the recipe, I think typically says about 5 minutes of kneading. It's been maybe 3 and I feel like it's good. It's all kind of in the feel of it. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna let this dough rise. I've got a big glass bowl, a clean paper towel, and about another teaspoon of butter. We're gonna coat the bottom of this bowl in that butter. This is gonna keep our dough from sticking and allow it to stretch without cracking. So we're gonna put our dough in and really coat it and then flip it over and coat the other side. And if you need to, you can add a little of that butter to the outside of that. Just make sure you got it up the sides because you want this dough doubling. So it's going to come up the sides of the bowl. So make sure you're buttering up the sides. All right, it's ready to go into the oven. Not a hot oven, but just an enclosed space that you can keep slightly warm so that this can proof and get big. Okay, while our dough is in the oven rising, which takes about an hour and a half, we're gonna make the filling so when we roll out the dough, we have the filling ready to go to be spread on the inside, and we can roll them up and get them ready to go into the oven. So what we have for our filling is a 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar, about 2½ tablespoons of softened butter, a tablespoon of regular cinnamon. You can use a cinnamon spice blend if you want, but I like just the regular cinnamon, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I also have some cinnamon and brown sugar that has been mixed together that after we spread on the spreadable topping, we're gonna sprinkle a little of this additional sugar and cinnamon on there as well because it makes it just really nice and ooey gooey and delicious. So let's go ahead and put these together. We're just gonna whisk them up nice and make a filling to go on that dough. Get any easier than that. Okay, it has been an hour and a half. Our dough is risen, and we are going to punch it down, take some of that air out, roll it out, and get the filling in. So first step, punch down that dough. Perfect. Take that out. Stretch it out into about a 12-inch by 15-inch oval. To get a little more flour on here, sticking just a little. All right, nice heavy rolling pin helps with this. I have a really good one, so that helps. Beautiful smooth dough. All right, now that we've got everything rolled out nicely, we're going to apply a nice thin layer of butter to the whole thing. This is about a tablespoon of butter. And on top of that butter, we're gonna add our filling that we made earlier with the butter, brown sugar, and cinnamon. And we're just gonna spread that into the whole surface of the dough. It is. Beautiful. We're going to use every bit of it, every little bit of it. And then we're just going to go over it and sprinkle on some additional brown sugar and cinnamon. What? All right. And then we're going to roll this up into a nice tight roll. Get our ends together. Okay, and get a serrated knife. All right, we're just going to take a serrated knife and we're going to cut this into sections. And once you get them all cut into sections, you're going to take them apart. Look at that, beautiful cinnamon rolls, so cute. And we're just gonna line them up in our pan here. Second pan. Same thing. All right. These little guys are so cute. Okay. And then these are going to go back now into the oven to rise again. So we did another 30 minutes and those will puff up and then we'll bake them off. And they're going to be so good. All right, while we're waiting for our rolls to rise in the oven before we get them baking, we're going to go ahead and whip up the cream cheese frosting. 1 8-ounce block of cream cheese. Make sure you have your whip attachment. We're gonna soften that up real quick first. We're gonna add a teaspoon of vanilla. And then we're going to slowly start adding powdered sugar, about 1/4 of a cup at a time. And this is undoubtedly going to cause a big puff of powder here. So we're going to turn that down a little bit so we don't coat the kitchen in powdered sugar. Spatula out, scrape down the bowl. All right, we're just gonna whip this up one last time, make sure it's nice and light and fluffy, and a little higher speed. I used about 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar. Sometimes it's that, sometimes it's a full cup. Getting lots of air in this. Nice, light, airy, fluffy frost. And this is going to go into the refrigerator now until our rolls are done baking and cooling. You want them cool before you put the cream cheese frost on. Otherwise it will melt and you'll have more of a cream cheese glaze, which some people prefer it that way. So it's kind of up to you, but I like to see that nice frosting on the top. So we'll get this in the fridge. When the rolls are baked, we'll be back and we'll show you the finished product. Our rolls are ready to come out of the oven. Oh, it looks so good. All right, they are out of the oven, cooled off and frosted. They're not totally cool, they're still very warm in the center, but you just want to give them a minute to cool off so that your frosting doesn't completely melt into a puddle in the bottom of the pan. So this was kind of perfect timing. The frosting got a little melty, but it's not like a glaze, so we still have that nice sweet topping. The only thing left to do now is to give them a try. That beautiful cinnamon roll. You can see all the layers on the inside, all that beautiful cinnamon. Oh, it looks so good. And that dough is nice and light and fluffy. It's not heavy. Absolutely beautiful. Enjoy. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow so you don't miss the next recipe in the series. Till next time.